And good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Futsal868 Corner Talks. My name is Geoffrey Edwards, series moderator and president of the Futsal Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Futsal868 Corner Talks is an online meetup series where global sporting professionals share their experiences and perspectives on the fastest growing indoor sport in the world, futsal. In recent sessions, we expanded to discuss topics of social issues and their relation to sport, including the George Floyd matter. We want to take a moment to recognize the fact that justice has been served. For this month of April, Futsal868 Corner Talks hosts Futsal in CONCACAF. This four-part series aims to sensitize and educate all to the sport of futsal in the Confederation. Our guests will assist to provide an in-depth look at the game of futsal in their countries and regions of the Caribbean, Latin, and North America. Today, in episode 49, we continue with part 4 of the series. Our guests are Mr. Alexandre Kenol, head coach of the Haiti men's national futsal team, and Mr. Rolf Verlue, manager, senior men's national futsal team, and international relations at the Suriname Futsal Association. Let's introduce our guest. Good day, gentlemen.
Hi.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It is a privilege to be able to have you all both. First and foremost, let me say thank you very much to Mr. Chris Fernandez for linking us together, Alex. It's really and truly because of Chris that you are here. And I want to say thank you very much. Rolf, it has been a pleasure. I want to say thank you very much to your fellow Surinamese counterpart for linking us as well. Noting that three of us here together, outside of, and the only person missing is Cuba, or a Cuban representative, which we are hoping to get by next week. We are the 4 teams that represent the Caribbean. So before we go into that discussion of futsal in the Caribbean and what we represent, I want to get each one of you to be able to describe who you all are to our guests, as well as your what made you get into futsal. So let's start with our north neighbor, Alex. All yours, sir.
Well, Jeff, thank you for inviting me. It's a really great pleasure to be there, and it's a really great pleasure to meet Ralph also. So, to answer your question, futsal, the way it started with me, of course, I started to love football before, and I was playing when I was younger. I was not that good, but I was not that bad also. But I love the game. And one day I had a serious injury at my knees, and I lost all my confidence in the game, and I lost my place in the elite team when I was playing. And when I got back, I was afraid. I lost all my confidence, so I was afraid to ask for the ball. I was afraid to be in there, So I was playing in the lower level. And at high school, I changed school, and at my new school, they were a team of indoor soccer. It was not futsal, but it was indoor soccer. And there's a coach that heard a little bit about me, and he told me like, look, come try, and you'll see. I said, no, you know what, I need big space. I'm really fast. I don't think I'll be really good. I wasn't really good, but I was okay, right? And so I started playing indoor soccer, and I loved the game. I loved the way that I was involved in every play, and I took lots of confidence in a short amount of time. So it's at that time that I started to love the indoor soccer form. Well, it was before, it was a kind of futsal before. And when I started coaching a couple of years later, I saw that I was coaching one of now he's playing in Indianapolis. His name was Carl Wimet. Carl Wimet was a player at the school that I was coaching, and he was really physical, really a strong player, but feet, he wasn't really good. So I heard a little bit about him at school, and I saw that it was big and it was physical, and say, you know what, can you try to play futsal for your team and see what you can do? And he started playing futsal and start getting better. And in the same year, he went in the region all star team, national team. Not because of me, but just because the way he started to play futsal, it was the first, the first player that was playing it was, but now it was playing with Montreal Impact before. Now he's in Indianapolis, but it was signed with the Montreal Impact Academy, and I saw what wow, that game, if you played well, it could really improve your game. So that's the reason why I start liking futsal and like the sports. And I created a league, and it became one of the biggest league in Canada. And so I was involved in it, and I was coaching. I was playing a little bit. So that's the way that my love for the futsal grew, and it's a little bit where it started and where I come from, and now I'm in my place as a national head and a head coach of a national team.
Before we go on to Rolf, tell us how that connection came. I mean, I know it's French, but tell us how the connection came in terms of a Canadian coaching the Haitian national futsal team.
Well, it's really simple. There's a lot of Asian in Montreal, in Canada. There's a lot of Asian. It's a really big community here, and what you need to know it's that the Asian futsal team, they played the CONCACAF. Last time was 2008, and after that they didn't go back in that tournament. So they were aiming, while they were focusing on soccer, they were focusing on football. And what happened is the president of the Asian Futsal Association here in Montreal, he created an association. His name is Alain Gregoire, and he saw the opportunity because there were a lot of Asian players here that were really good. So he entered in contact with the Asian Football Federation, and asked them, asked the president if they can try to bring back futsal in Haiti, but try to get involved all the Canadians and the Asian players to try to make it a good team and make grow futsal in the country. So the president accept. He said, "Okay, you know what? Yes, we can do it, but you need to find a way to finance everything because we can help a little bit, but we don't have all the budget." So he started the project like that with all the players that were there in Montreal, Canada, and Quebec, and I was a little bit involved because I wanted to help. I had some things in my life that I was really busy, and he came with the question, like, if I can coach and if I can help the country uh, if I can help the futsal to go in the country. And I said, I think about it because we're in a pandemic situation, so it's not really easy. And I trying to see some players here, Rep Dominican, Europe, States, in the country, or the motherland. So I thought I think that it was really hard, but you know what? I said, you know what? It's an opportunity that I can't say no. So I said yes, and we enter in contact with all the people in the country, and we start to getting something that we will present in the next few days.
Yeah, definitely. And I thank you for that. And we know we're going to go into depth to that in the next segment. So we definitely want to say thank you very much for that introduction. We go across to our southern neighbors in terms of Suriname. Rolf, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I need to
Tell us your involvement as regards to futsal, personal involvement in futsal. Without giving too much information as regards to futsal in Suriname, we'll speak more to that later on. But tell us how you got involved in futsal.
Yes. First of all, let me compliment you on the way you are promoting the sport through your network. It's
Yeah.
Really
Yes.
nice. I like it. It's something which we need more, and I really want to congratulate you on that. My involvement in futsal, actually, it's quite a story. I grew up in Suriname and then started to play football in the Netherlands, quite a good level at the amateur level. Then came back after, I think, roughly 8 years after my education, and then started playing here, of course, football. And among friends, eventually, which they already played football, futsal. I joined the team as a player in the futsal league, and then it really caught my eyes, the level of play, and after a while I rolled into actually the coaches development teams which we have in Suriname, and then started coaching. So I was a player, started coaching, eventually coached the under 14 Surinamese national team, and then also coached the one team at the highest level in Suriname. And all of a sudden, the president decided not to continue the terms for a next term, and actually, yeah, approached me how I was thinking if I had interest in becoming the new chairman of the Futsal Suriname. Yeah, I thought about it and eventually accepted, discussed that, and I was president for 3 years. And then after that, which is, I think, approximately 1.5 years ago, I decided to take the time for a family. I have a young kid of 2.5 years now, and another one of 2 months. So I decided to step back to have more time for the family. But still, I'm involved with the national team, which is a blessing, which I actually like a lot because I actually know the potential. That's how I came to the futsal actually community, being a player, eventually coaching, then at the board, and now I'm back doing what I love with the national team.
So, guests and folks, that is an introduction to our two guests, Alex and Rolf, as regards to their involvement in futsal. And this comes to the end of segment one. But stay tuned because we'll be right back. This is episode 49 of Futsal868 Corner Talks, where we go into depth as regards to futsal in Haiti and Suriname. And you'll be surprised at the amount of things that is happening, especially in Suriname. We'll be right back. Episode 49 of Futsal868 Corner Talks. See you after the break.
My name is Adrian Welch, and I'm an ALA on the national men's futsal team. Well, in the last game, I mean, the team, we were a bit slow, a bit lethargic, but I mean, sometimes that happens on the day when you train a lot. And in terms of my personal performance, I would like to be involved a bit more. I would like to have a bit more chances, a bit more shots on goal. But I mean, we're still growing as a team, and we're still learning a lot about the game. Right now, the team morale is definitely high. I mean, there's a lot of love among the guys in the team. We get along pretty well, I would say. We often calling each other after games to talk to each other about how the games went and how we performed and for advice and stuff like that. So I would say it's pretty high. I think he's a good guy. His heart is definitely in the right place, and he is also a very knowledgeable, very well-traveled coach. One thing I can say that I've picked up from him is his pride. Although he's not a Trinidadian, he seems to share that love and that pride of his country more than most people that I've come across, and that's one thing that I would say that is something that we need a lot going into these qualifiers. We have studied a lot of teams actually. We've studied clubs in Brazil, we've studied the Brazilian national team, we've studied other countries in CONCACAF, some of the top nations such as Guatemala, Panama, Costa Rica. and other clubs around the world like Movistar, Barcelona, and so on. The transition at the start definitely was difficult. Although you'd like to think that the game of futsal is played with your feet just like in football, but it's a lot of different movements involved, and that's something that you have to get accustomed to, which takes time. But I would say right now we're moving pretty well oiled, I should say, and looking forward to going into the qualifiers and representing the nation well.
So welcome back to episode 49 of Futsal868 Corner Talks. And you join here with Alex and Rolf with regards to all things futsal in Haiti and also Suriname. As you saw in the break, that was our Allah. As regards to the men's national futsal team player, Mr. Adrian Welsh. And we move with Lucas 8 Sport. Thank you very much, Lucas 8 Caribbean, for being a part of Futsal and Futsal 868, as well as Futsal 868 Corner Talks. So in continuing, guys, I want to start with Rolf in this segment. Rolf, tell us futsal in Suriname. Give us the full rundown as regards to futsal, noting that there are a lot of things that I didn't know, and I definitely would like our viewers who are watching live and also those who are watching the recap as regards to all things futsal in Suriname.
Yes, thank you. Futsal in Suriname is big. It's of course going back to the 80s. They have been 83 teams in the league. Actually, the second sport in Suriname, and for a long time, I think the sport with the most followers on Facebook. We have so in the 80s we had 82 three teams, which is a lot considering in the capital we only have approximately 220,000 people. So 83 teams playing. Of course, till 2010, and after that it declined slightly due to the economic situation. We are now at roughly 34 teams. But the way packed stadiums, every time you have the playoffs, we have an annual competition with playoffs. So it's really big. So that's why I from the get-go got interested. I think futsal has the only sport in Suriname which has a very successful school competition at the under 14, under 17, and under 20 levels, where approximately 85% of the schools in the capital participate, which is tremendous. We have been running this for I think about 14, 15 years already, and all the schools, they look forward to this. And the way we develop the game is based on a school program in which at the under 14 level, we after the school competition, we start, I think, approximately 35 of those young kids in the Futsal Academy, in which education and sport go hand in hand. Out of those boys, we then actually develop the under 14 futsal team of Suriname, which participates in the annual South American school competition for under 14. And then after that, we are aiming to move those kids up into a normal club. And then after that, we try to scout them, try to keep them involved, play and stay, as we call it, and make sure that eventually we have the talents for the senior squad. We have been doing this for the past 7 years, and actually we are quite successful at it, I must say, in which we have, I think 14 or maybe 16-year-olds at the senior national team. Our current goalkeeper, which will be participating in Guatemala, is one of those guys who is 16 years old and comes from actually this program. So we are very proud of that. Of course, we have a big constraint, that's the financial issue. But for the most part, I'm very, very impressed with the way Suriname is doing it. The biggest thing for us is that we, once I got into office, I actually analyzed the game, and the way to grow is by making sure that we have quality coaches, to make sure that we also, by growing the coaches, we can grow the sport. And we, at this point, have 30 coaches which have a European certificate for amateur, and out of that 30, we have 10 which have the certificate or the diploma to have to coach professional teams. So by doing that, we have seen a lot of improvement in the game, not only tactical, but also organizational wide. And I think that is the way to go, focusing on the youth and also on the coaches.
I love that. And if it is, I was to take our strategic goals, two of our strategic goals is, female inclusivity and brand awareness. Can you speak to female inclusivity in terms of participation of futsal players in Suriname, as well as from a social media standpoint, a brand awareness standpoint? How is the sport of futsal, as well as the Surinamese Futsal Association, been doing?
Yeah, female inclusivity is a big challenge, and has been a big challenge in Suriname. We know in football it's also a challenge, but we have done it 2 years in a row, actually doing some small competitions for females. But for some, we have not been able to make it a regular competition within the futsal league. This is something which is indeed also on the of course the FIFA strategic plan. And actually, we are trying to approach this out of the school competition. We have seen in the school competition, especially at the under 17 level, we have a lot of enthusiastic girls, females, but for some reason after that, they don't get to play and stay in the game. So this is something I know is on the strategic plan also for the current board of the Futsal Association, but it's something we indeed need to look into. In terms of the marketing aspect for the Futsal Suriname, actually we have noticed, and Futsal Suriname has always been a very loyal partner to indeed the media, but also corporate Suriname. And we see that indeed, if you stick to the plan and do what you say, it pays dividends, and we have a good relationship. Also, of course, with the Suriname Football Association, of course, we are actually sub under those the Futsal Football Association, and that has also been in the strategic plan, because in the past there was a lot of animosity, but we need each other just to grow the game. It's not only for futsal, but also for football, and we see that actually combining these two elements of football, that it's beneficial for all the players.
Thank you very much for that, Ralph, because again, I will say it for the third time. When I heard the amount of things that you all have been doing, I'm really impressed. And I really pray that you continue to move from strength to strength as regards to that and pushing the sport. I spoke about marketing because it's very important that we all work together to get that word out there, to showcase what's happening with futsal. And with that being said, I will definitely introduce you to Stefan Magetagon of Futsal Focus, that he can be able to do a piece with you. Futsal Focus is one of the most publicized futsal publication in globally. I see Alex is shaking his head. Stephen has been a really good friend of Trinidad and Tobago, and I think that this story needs to be heard. I think the world needs to know what's happening in Suriname, so definitely we'll be passing on that number to you so that he can be able to do an interview as regards to promotion of futsal in Suriname. Alex, let's move across to you. And yes, we know it's Canada. Yes, we know it's Haiti. But based on what you have learned, given the synergy that is now Canada and Haiti through futsal, what is the landscape on the ground in Haiti? And also I would like you to speak some more to the landscape of futsal in Canada among the Haitian population, and how do you intend to grow such?
Well, it's a really good question. I mean, I'll be honest, it's a really good question because, listen, the way it started with the futsal team in the Asian futsal team. To be honest, I need to give lots of respect to Alain Grégoire, which is the president of the association, the futsal association here, because he think about something. He had a vision, and when he talked about his vision, at first at the start was 2 or 3 years ago. Nobody was nobody like not trust the project, but said, okay, you know what, Ali, what it will not work. It will not work because how would you do that? You want to start a team here in Canada, but the Asian, and so I need to give him much respect because I'll speak about the vision that he told me. The way that he think about that is because in there's a little bit of futsal in Haiti, right? There's the Lipo is a league, futsal Port-au-Prince. There's a couple of new leagues, but futsal is pretty new. There's not a lot of not knowledge, but there's not a lot of futsal right now. There's a little bit, but not a lot. And the last time that the Asian futsal team played a competition, it was in 2008 at the CONCACAF. The first game was in 2001. It's really funny about that. It was against Canada, and Canada won this game 9-5. It was in Quebec City, 21 years ago. So it's really, really, really new. And the way that Alan told me about explained the project is to start to build something here and to make the bridge and bring all the knowledge, the players, to combine with all the players there and try to start something, because the Asian community is really strong here, and they still have the Asian flag up in the heart, and the players from Canada that will play on the national team, they are Asian. That's the first thing I need to say. They're Asian, and you're Asian by your heart, your soul, your ancestors, not by where you live. So the way that we try to make the team and try to, and I'll explain why I'm telling you that, is because we have a coach. Well, the coach that was he's in my coaching staff. His name is Edouard Voltaire. He was a coach in 2008. So he is my contact there to see who are the good players that could make the team. So we'll watch some videos and things like that. But if it wasn't about the COVID, I was supposed to go to get there and see some plays and see the situation by my own eyes, and see what we can involve, what we can put in place. And it's real nice. And I hear you about the project in Suriname, because I think it's the way that we aiming to make things because I think it's the right thing, the best way to do things when you want to make the sport grow in a country. So basically, what's happening in Haiti is we have sort of couple leagues, but about knowledge about the game, knowledge about the coaching, knowledge about people. Well, the marketing around the sports is, like you said, Jeffrey, is really important. And there's not a lot right now because it's really new. We're aiming to make the best that we can do in that competition for Asian here or Asian there can say, wow, there's a game that we can do something also. So let's put some focus on that and try to grow the sport, because I think that the Asian team, either football or futsal, I think that we're doing a lot of things with less. So I think that if we're focusing more on that, on futsal, I think that in a couple of years, the Asian national team and the futsal in Haiti will grow. And I think that the way that Suriname did their things, I think that it looks like a little bit what we want to do there in Haiti.
Most definitely. But before we continue, I got a WhatsApp message asking a question. Alex, are you from Haiti? Do you have Haitian blood?
Oh, of course, yes. Yes. Yeah. My parents are Haitian. Yeah, of course. And Kenal is not from Canada. I'm sorry. So no, I'm an Asian. I'm just born in Montreal, but on my heart, my soul, my ancestors, I'm Asian.
Great. How does your parents feel as regards to you getting this opportunity to coach the Haitian national futsal team?
Well, the Asian dad, they're not really, how can I say that? I know that he's proud. It's not really comfortable to tell me like that. I think it's a culture thing, but my mother is really proud, and my dad is proud also. He told me, "Are you gonna coach a team?" I said, "Yeah." Good. Can you go to pick this at the like that, So
well, let's hope that when he hears the national anthem, and he sees you on camera, that he feels that proud moment tug his heart. He mightn't tell you anything, but it tugs his heart.
Exactly. I know inside is really proud, and all the family there, all my family, our family in the States, in France, obviously in Haiti, but I think everyone is really proud, and it's really it's a special feeling.
Yes.
I never thought I'll be in that position at that point in my coaching career at 31 years old. So I said, you know what? If I had the chance, let's go, let's do it, and
Take it.
Yeah, we'll do what we can do.
Definitely. The Haitian national women's team,
Yeah,
both senior and under 20, are remarkable.
yeah.
Seeing them at the World Cup, you all also have top-notch players played in the French first division professionally. They are ranked in the top 10 in terms of female players in the Caribbean. You have 2 or 3 players who are ranked in the top 10, along with Jamaican players.
Yeah.
Do you think that there will be a seamless transition for futsal, or the inclusion of futsal for the female community in Haiti?
I don't think I will not. I will answer that. I think that it's a must. It's a must. We need to involve women in sports. We need to involve women in futsal. And I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't about women, because the first little championship that I won in my life, it was with the female team. It was with women, and guys, if we're honest, if we can watch some football or futsal game, it's beautiful. See women playing good futsal, great futsal. So I think that it will be a must because we see that the Asian women's team, they're doing great. So we have players, we have quality. So definitely after the CONCACAF and the competition, when we will start to build a structure in futsal. Of course, we'll put energy in men's, we'll put energy in women's, we'll put energy in kids. I think it's the way to do it. And you see the women's team. It's we're proud of that team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that proudness has to be shared for the men's and the women's team.
Well, tell us some of your successes as regards to futsal in Suriname, as well as your challenges. I know you mentioned financial, of course. It's something that is across the board. And let me tell you all guys, having done the show 49 episodes, all 49 has not been about futsal specifically. But when we do sit down and speak futsal, I can tell you that most of our challenges, most of our opportunities, strengths and weaknesses are similar. And that is why I believe that it's important that we work together to build this, to build it on a global front. But nevertheless, well, for the sake of question and answer, do share with us some of the success stories of futsal in Suriname, as well as challenges that you face.
Well, in Suriname, I already mentioned it. The school competition is a success. Not going into detail again, but that has been going on and it's been continuing and it's sustainable. For now, we will roll it out from the capital also to the other districts, which is good. We see that it's the actually the only organized activities for those kids during the weekend or in the weekdays. So that brings a smile to your face when you see and unbelievable. You see the packed stadiums at the under 14, under 17. Mm-hmm. You see the mothers. You see whole schools coming to the stadium, which is that's why you do it for it. It's free entrance practically, so you make sure that you have no barriers. Everybody can come in. So we are very proud of that. Another success for us is actually at the strategic plan was for us very important that we need to get back to the CONCACAF region. We have been absent for so long, unbelievable. Suriname, wherein actually futsal is very big, but we haven't been playing actually the CONCACAF competitions. And actually my focus was on bringing that back, because end of the day, once you play a good level of futsal in Suriname, you want to play for the national team, and you want those role models also for the kids. And you need those dreams for the kids that they can one time play for the futsal national team. So that was important. And that journey started in 2017 when I visited the CONCACAF headquarters in Miami. Questioning how to organize a approved CONCACAF tournament in Suriname. We did. It was a struggle, but we did in 2018 with Guatemala, Curacao, French Guyana participating along with Suriname. So that was a milestone for us also to have a CONCACAF approved tournament, which was a great success. Also for the partnerships, because it was a big event, and then you notice then that you have, when you have the good events, you have the partnerships in place. And after that, actually we had all the paperwork in place 2 weeks after the tournament, submitted that to the CONCACAF. And very surprisingly, and I don't think you know that, 3 months past that, they asked us actually to host the 2020, if we were interested to host the 2020 CONCACAF Championships, which would be in May last year, you know that. But yeah, it was an election month, so yeah, I declined because in election month I don't think anyone is interested in futsal. So that was a big leap forward, knowing that actually we received the request. Maybe if it was all okay, it would be the CONCACAF Championship in Suriname. So that would be something. So that was a success for us. That through hard work we can achieve that. The relationship with the football association is something also which we are very proud of, because it was usually animosity, but we changed it to making sure that we strengthen each other through collaboration. So those are the success stories. The challenges, of course, is how to grow the sport to the next level, and making sure that actually we get the females in, we get the districts in, to make sure that we have a national global brand. And I think the way you are approaching this, Geoffrey, is the way we need to make sure that we continue, and actually putting in the hours, putting in the energy. As you know, futsal organizations are usually a small group, doing it for the love of the game. The money is a challenge, but we do it by putting our heart in that, and making sure we put in all the hours. So it's sometimes it's tiring, but you get up the next day and you see the smiles, and you continue again. But I think that's just the biggest challenge, growing actually a sustainable organization, getting in the finance to have a good futsal association, actually administration. I think that is the biggest hurdle for us. And if that is in place, it lightens the load for a lot of people. And then you can start thinking about the years ahead. Now you are very busy with the day-to-day challenges, and that is actually a barrier to make sure you focus on the future.
Definitely well said, Rolf. Definitely well said. For the sake of time, I'm just going to rush straight across to Alex. And I'll ask Alex, you mentioned that you have one of the biggest leagues in Canada. I want to speak more to that in terms of number of participants, number of events that you have, etc., etc. And also, I would like to find out what are the success stories that you have had for this journey that is the Haitian men's national futsal team. And also the same question to Rolf, but not from an association standpoint, but a national team standpoint, some of the challenges.
Well, to answer your first question, yeah, I started my league 12 years ago, and I wanted to start a business as a young man. So I was I tried everything in my life, to be honest with you. Sell some cosmetic things. Well, I did everything. I started with chocolate, and well. So when I had the idea, I was looking all the leagues, and it was always 7 versus 7. It was a big league here in Quebec. It was Coupe du Monde Bell. It was the Bell World Cup before, around the 90s to the 2000 2005. All the Montreal Impact players at the off season were playing there. It was a board as the NASL now in the States. It was a big game. It was the big league like that, and I had the chance to play when I was young, and there was so much people and things like that. The great vibe. So I was trying to get into futsal and make a league that have the same spirit, the same values, things like that. So we started a league, and we had 12 teams for the first year. One week before we started the league, we had one team. So we put on the call. I thought it was having a business was easy. Just okay, I'll tell that I will have a league and everyone will just register. And it wasn't like that. It's where I saw that futsal we had a challenge to promote that sport, because our futsal is not, it's not real soccer. Yeah, you can have knee problems, all the things that we always hear. But I try to take the other side. In futsal, you have a lot of goals, you have a lot of tricks move, and I tried and I start to getting sponsors and that. But maybe I'm a good salesman also, it helps. But it's the way that we started the game. So we had 12 teams for the first year, 30 teams, 50 teams for the third year, and now 12 years later, we are around 100 teams. Well, summer and the winter all together, and I always place myself. I'm a promoter of the sports also, because I think that for the kids, even in Canada, we have money. Well, the structure has money. They have a lot of kids are coming from everywhere. So for me, I think that it was a little bit. I think that in the ranking, Canada was supposed to be in a better place. That's what I was thinking before, and I thought that the technical side was at some point put a little bit on the side. So we have futsal here that we have a winter for 8, 9, 10 months here. So why do we don't play futsal? It's less expensive. So that's where the way that we tried to sell the game. And after that, what the Quebec Federation started a league more structured that is maybe a semi-pro league right now. There's a couple of players that will be in the Asian team, but also in the Canadian team that were playing in that are playing in that league. So we had challenges to promote the sport, but you see now, right now with the CONCACAF, there's a lot of players that's coming from Montreal in Canada, in the Canadian team and the Asian team. And to be honest with you, there's more guys from Montreal. There's more guys from from Quebec in the Asian national team than in the Canadian team. So it puts us in the position that we see that futsal is growing, and it's getting better. And with all that's happening right now, with all the clubs here in Canada, there's a kind of a reform to try to put the sports a little bit more professional, a little bit more structure. I think that the future of futsal will be great. And I'm really happy to take part of this with my league. And my league it was really competitive. It is right now also, but I use the league to be a promoter of the game here in Quebec and in Canada.
Any chance of there being a European Super League kind of vibe?
If we can, no, yeah, it's not like that, but and I'm happy it didn't work. Just by the way, but that's another story. And
you have
about
a question?
the Asian team, yeah, you asked me the question. I'm sorry. The success, the challenge, it's the money. Money is always a challenge. But we have another challenge also. As Asian, we are that Asian that living in Canada. We kind of are being in the between, in between, because when we'll be in 80, it's okay, the guys from the other side, and when we'll be in Canada, it's the guys from the other side. So we're in between, and that was a challenge because there's maybe some people that thought that we wanted that to be a Canadian team, but it's not right. It's not true. We have people from Haiti. We have more players from here because they're playing more futsal. But the goal is in 4 years or 3 years from now, we'll have more players from everywhere. So that was a little bit the challenge because, like I said before, we're Asian by our hearts. We're Asian by our soul and ancestors, not where we live. That was a challenge, but a success story is to put that team together, to be honest with you, the guy Alain Gregoire, the president of the association, I need to well, people need to know his name because it was crazy. It was a crazy bet. It was a crazy bet. Imagine, Jeffrey, you're in another country, all right, and you say, okay, you know what, you're in the state, and you say, okay, you know what, there's not a lot of futsal in Trinidad, so I want to start a team. It will be difficult, and people will tell you you're crazy. And I'll be honest with you. I'll tell Alain when he told me that, like, do it. I will never say it won't work, but you're crazy. But it was crazy enough to work. So now we had not issues, but challenges with money, because if you see what's happening in Haiti, there's a lot of changes in the administration. So futsal was not a priority, but it still helped us a little bit. But futsal was not a priority. So now we cannot take a lot of money from the Asian Federation. It's normal. So where do we get the money? Here in Quebec, we're in a lockdown. So basically, we cannot do anything. We cannot do events. We cannot raise the money. It's really difficult. And 2 months ago, or maybe 3 months ago, maybe Ralph, you can So when we received the letter from the CONCACAF, it's at that time that they told us, "Hey guys, welcome to our tournament. It's great. We're really happy to have you guys. But about the hotel and things like that, you guys will pay. Thank you." So we're in a situation. So okay, what can we do? That was a situation. And me, I took the job. It was late. It was in February. So I'm getting to the project. We have no money. There's people there. There's players there. I cannot see them really well because of the quality of video, things like that. It was a mess. But couple months after that, we have a team. We have a staff. We have a complete staff. We have doctors. We have a manager, the athletic therapist. We have people that help us with the managing. We have people that help us with the immigration thing, because it was a thing also. They're all doing that volunteer. And next Friday, we're going to take the flight to go in Guatemala. That's our success story.
I totally respect and hear that. And to be honest with you, with everybody who speaks about futsal globally, especially my friend in Martinique from Fax, you have to be a little bit crazy when it comes to doing futsal, right? Just a little quick story as regards to futsal here in Trinidad and Tobago. I didn't start off futsal here in Trinidad and Tobago, but I remember when I wrote my first proposal, my first event proposal, a lot of sponsors thought it was a typo because they didn't even know what futsal was. And so I totally understand and hear that. Guys, I just want to take a quick question from one of our viewers who asks, and it's coming from sorry, this is coming from
Jean-Pinel Germain. Jean-Pinel
yes,
Germain.
we'll take his comment just now, but it's coming from Damien Daniel, who asks, what is the relationship between the foreign-based players versus locals for both countries? So if you will have foreign-based players who are with the locals, if any at all, what is the relationship between them both? Because when it comes to football, you have foreign-based players who come and join the local players, foreign-based professionals who come and join the local players. What is the relationship like if there is such a foreign-based versus locals?
Well, we have, to be honest with you, it's a great relationship because, there's players that lives in Canada, but they were born in Haiti, right? Mm-hmm. So, and we all the team that we put it in place with the president and the general manager Jean-Pinel Germain, who wrote the message. Everybody understands what I told you before, that the Asian players of that selection of that team understand that being Asian is not where you live, is what comes by your heart, your soul, and your ancestors. And so all the players understand that. And we're not talking about the players from, oh, you're coming from Canada, no, you're coming from here, you're coming from the States, no, you're Asian, and we represent the Asian team.
Rolf, do you all have foreign-based players as regards to your Suriname national futsal team?
No, we don't. We only have players from Suriname. It's been a strategic choice, as we know we have the technical abilities. We know we have the right mindset. So and also financial constraints. But at this moment, it did not even cross our minds to. Of course, we have the ties with the Netherlands for the most part, which is happening at football. But at this moment, we are very confident with our players here. We will see how this all develops, and we will see the next steps. But no, it's only guys from Suriname, and that is the way we roll.
From a Trinidad and Tobago standpoint, we have a few players who play in the indoor league in the United States, who are very skillful, but the head coach thought it fit to go with the local players. Additionally, COVID-19 and club obligations prevented them from coming to Trinidad and Tobago to be able to add value to the team as it may be. But we hope that as things progress, as you said, Rolf, not only from the CONCACAF participation standpoint, but in terms of what it is we're doing here in Trinidad and Tobago, we can be able to not only develop, grow, and export players and players' rights, I should put it that way, but also make sure that those who are playing outside and who are Trinbagonians by nationality can be able to come to Trinidad and Tobago and represent the red, white, and black. So that's very much true. But let's take the time to be able to recognize the comment by, is your president, is it your president?
It's general manager.
General manager. So we want to say thank you very much to the general manager.
Jean-Penel Germain.
Thank you very much for your pronunciation as well. Haitians are very proud to live in Canada as a host country, but Haitians will be very proud to see how Canadian Haitians are going to make the difference. And that is always the truth. And we very much wish the best to you all as you represent your country, your home country, with pride. And it will be very much interesting to see if Canada and Haiti do clash, what will become the result of it. So that is always the case. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Futsal868 Corner Talks, episode 49. Wow, God has been great to us. It has been a great blessing to say the least as regards to being here. So we want to say thank you very much to everybody who's joined us. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So given COVID-19, we had to be a little bit innovative, and we have our virtual run. And to Alex and Rolf, yes, you all can do it in Canada, Haiti, Suriname, anywhere in the world. Just log on to raceroster.com, click. It's a very good cause, violence against women, for the awareness. And we ask all our listeners, all our viewers to be able to log in anytime, anywhere in the world. You can do this. It is just 10 kilometers. You can walk, you can ride, you could swim, guys, indoors, outdoors. What better yet to be able to put to this great cause? Futsal 868 Virtual Race Challenge Series. So we are on to the last segment, the last leg. As a matter of fact, we're going to extra time because it's our. I see Rolf is rubbing his hands. So I'm going to go straight into it. Before we were supposed to have the predictions right after, but I like that. I like the fact that Rolf is rubbing his hands. So guys, let's do this. Let's do this quickly before we move on to have discussions as regards to futsal in the Caribbean and how we could better it. But next week, the championship begins. Let's take a look.
Yes.
I am going straight to Group B, followed by Group C. So Group B, we have Panama, Mexico, Suriname. So I'm going to ask both Rolf and Alex, the top two teams from each of these groups move on. So Rolf, obviously you first. You are grouped with Panama, Mexico, and Suriname. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about that group?
Yes, it's quite interesting seeing all the groups. Group B, it's beautiful. Of course, Panama is one of the top countries. I think ranked number 2 after Guatemala. So we have seen the videos, which is impressive. So that we will playing Panama at day number 1, May 3rd. We will, of course, after a long break of international competition, we will just have a look and feel how that goes. Panama is tough, but we have analyzed and we feel that there are certain things which we can improve and make sure that we have a good match. And then, of course, Mexico and Mexico is quite a let's call it a black box for us. If we look at Mexico, we cannot find anything apart from some videos from 4 years ago. We know they are in Panama and Guatemala at the moment playing some exhibition matches. But Mexico for us is very, very difficult to predict how they are going to play. We know they have some beach soccer players, but we feel that our chances will be with Mexico for sure. And then, of course, we will be aiming for, and we will qualify for the quarterfinals. That is our predictions at the moment. But of course, Mexico, it's very difficult to predict because we haven't found anything on Mexico at this time. So yeah, based on that, it might be a Suriname-Canada clash in the quarterfinals. But I'm also looking forward to Group C with Canada and Haitian playing each other. It's going to be a very entertaining match, to say the least. But those are my predictions for Group B. And then after that, during the knockout stage, anything can happen. We have seen it with Guatemala 3 years ago, visiting Suriname during our international event. We see the form of the moment, the form of the day. How focused are you? That plays a big role. And in futsal, that the momentum changes in an instant. So it's going to be very nice to have the like-minded in one place. That is how I see it so far.
Alex, let's move on to Group C, where you're faced with Costa Rica and, of course, Canada. What are your thoughts?
Well, as a coach, I will. The way I will answer that question is, to be honest with you, Costa Rica is a big player in that competition. They're They're really good. They're real structured. Canada, Canada, they worked really hard for the past 5 years, and they will be a good team. But I'll be honest, I respect them. I respect both team, and the logical will say that those two teams will pass because we don't know much about us, but I'll answer you by the logical side. We're not playing futsal with the logical side, so we're gonna play. We're gonna play with heart. We respect them. We respect both programs. We respect both teams, but we're not afraid.
If there's one thing I know, and I need to come back to the screen with this one before I continue with the predictions. If there's one thing I know, is your last statement or phrase that is, play with heart. Haitians play with heart. They do everything with heart. And I give you that, brother. I really think that you can be able to be a dark horse in that. And I mean, you have the support here. Look what's going on. You have the support there. That says it all to me. But really and truly, it would be very much interesting to be able to see that matchup, Canada and Haiti. I will watching with keen progress, with keen eyes as regards to with popcorn, seeing what's going to happen with that venture. Trinidad and Tobago will be heading to Costa Rica tomorrow, where we play 2 games. We want to say thank you very much to the Costa Rican Football Federation for inviting us and for hosting us. Carlos was very much instrumental in being a part of that conversation. But yeah, it is really and truly amazing to be able to have that. Just a quick question to you, Alex. How does it feel to be able to train in Canada, knowing that you're going to play against Canada, one, and then when it is you saw the draw, and you know that you were going to play Canada, without giving too much details, what were your thoughts for both of those situations?
Well, to be honest,
and he scratches his head.
To be honest with you, it's kind of a movie. It's kind of a movie because I wasn't involved in the team when the draw happened last year, but in our heads, me, my friends, people from here, we were telling everyone like, can you imagine that Canada and the Asian team could battle for a place for a spot? So it's like, nah, impossible. And then we saw the draw. So let's say I'll give you an example. Here in the Quebec League, there's a lot of players in the league, and I think that the Quebec and Montreal Federation, they're a little bit they have a little bit weird feelings because they need to promote the Canadian team and the players that are playing in Canada and players that they're playing in the league, but one of the opponents have a lot of players and more players in their team than the Canadian team. So there's a lot of things that's funny, but that being said, we have a job to do on the field, and it will be pretty special, of course, but we have a job to do.
Rolf and I are not jealous in any way. That's you keep that. You keep that.
Yeah, I know for a fact if he beats Canada, he will not be welcome anymore. Our good friend Chris Fernandez will not be happy.
Chris, I don't know about Chris. To be honest with you, I will not talk about any further about the game. But I hope that I have a great, and I need to tell you how Chris promote the games really, really much. He's a really big asset for the futsal
Yeah.
growth here in
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
So I took that. I'll take the time to say hi to him because he helps a lot. He helped me a lot with my league. He helped me a lot when I started. So I guess that no matter what, he was still my friend.
Yeah, of course.
I hope so. If not, Ralph, if you have
Come on
a
down.
house or something that I can bring my son and I'll go. It's not a problem. It will be the first time I'll go in Suriname, so not a
Yeah,
problem. I want to
you're
discuss.
welcome, man. You're welcome.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So I'm going to use that opportunity to quickly advertise. You know, we are hiring. We are hiring. We are hiring a national futsal development coordinator. So you never know. You could apply for that in case anything happens.
I think I have a good
Like I said,
lead.
I want to discover the world. So if the offer is good, I'm I'm kidding.
I have a good lead for you, maybe, Jeff. We can discuss offline.
Definitely, brother. But
Yeah.
moving on to the rest of the group, we have Group D, which is first and foremost, they have the most amount of teams, and many persons consider them to be the group of death. Gents, do you all agree? And secondly, which two teams do you think would move on from Group D?
Yes, group D is difficult to predict. Of course, the CONCACAF giant Cuba, USA, one of our good friends, Otto, is active at the USA national team as goalkeeper trainer. So, yeah, they are making steps. I was in Ohio during an international tournament in 2018, where I also met Chris Fernandez. That's where we became good friends. Yes, so they have a fantastic squad, of course, but seeing also El Salvador and Nicaragua, which is actually countries not to underestimate. I must say I'm also, yeah, it's very difficult to predict who will move on, but I'm just going to see how the first 2 days how that will evolve. It's I must say, if it stands the way you have it on your screen, it might be, but I think a surprise will definitely be in Group D. And what it is, I'm not sure yet, but I have the feeling there's going to be some craziness in that group. So difficult to predict. I must say, for now, it might be Cuba and USA, but don't be surprised if there will be a shift during the tournament.
Alex?
Like I said before, as a coach, I'll not put myself in a situation that will comment the other teams. I'm focusing about my team, but what I can tell you is I think that in futsal, especially in futsal, all the teams that they're there could have a good break. We never know with all the pandemics and things everything happening right now. So I'll tell you that I think that there's not bad teams in that tournament. I think that it will be pretty exciting in all the groups. Group D also, because there's 4 teams, but I think that it will be really exciting.
Well, I left Group A for last. Just going to say it straight case. I think that Guatemala and Trinidad Tobago will move on. So we can move on with that conversation as well. But on a serious note, though, the Dominican Republic has a league. From all conversations during this series, apparently they have players from the second division of the Spanish Futsal League, which is very much impressive. They have been a silent giant in terms of developmental programs, in terms of leagues and competitions. As a matter of fact, in 2016, 2017, we were invited to one, which we never attended. But at the same time, I think the Dominican Republic is going to be a dark horse. In bringing us back to screen, one of the things I want, I'm very much interested in is the sixth player in this championship. And we speak about the 12th man in football. First in futsal will be the sixth player. And that sixth player is a COVID-19 pandemic. Because I call the COVID-19 the great equalizer. From a Trinidad and Tobago standpoint, if the COVID-19 didn't happen, I think that our preparations would have not been as good as it is right now. And Alex, you mentioned that to some extent, and I want to expand on that because it's something that our guest last week said in that of Mr. Futsal USA. He mentioned that many of the teams, well, CONCACAF first and foremost doesn't have a COVID-19 plan as regards to backup players. So if your player gets COVID-19, how are you going to add in or bring in another player? That's one.
Well, there's well, just for information, CONCACAF gives us the right to have more players because of this situation.
Great. Well, so thank you very much for that. And so, what is the traveling team like? Is it going to be 14, or have they added on to what's the number? What's the increased number now?
Well, it will be 14, but you can come with some players. But I'll be honest with you. If you come with 16 as us, if one has a COVID, it will be really pretty difficult that the other one they don't have. So that's the thing. We'll bring people. We'll bring more guys. Let's say we're lucky, and we'll play with the guys that they don't have the COVID. But there's the COVID. If it get into your room, it will be difficult no matter what.
We had Carlos on the show in December of last year, and he mentioned one of the problems he's having given the COVID-19 is a lot of his players got gordo. They got fat. Yeah, they put on a little bit of weight, and now he was just waiting for the pandemic or opportunity to train to be able to see how we can get that back to fitness. You have a team like United States of America who were traveling to the Middle East and had a couple games. So they were about to peak when COVID happened, and then everything went to crazy. Based on last week's conversation, it was said that because of COVID-19, it was very difficult to be able to bring all of those players from different parts of the United States to be able to train. Guatemala made the trip down to Brazil. They, being the host country, had the great opportunity. But then, as I said before, there's a lot of countries who have been suffering with the COVID-19 and it being unpredictable, where today you might be okay, and by tomorrow your government is saying lockdown, as in the case of you, Suriname, and also us here in Trinidad and Tobago. Again, I'm repeating, COVID-19 has been the great equalizer. And in the case of futsal, is the sixth man. And I would really like to see how that play off on the day of. Additionally, Guatemala playing in the dome is not going to have their home support. The dome is a very intimidating atmosphere. They don't have that home support. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond from a psychological standpoint to be able to overcome when it is you have teams whose game has elevated over the years coming at them. This is going to be an interesting championship to say the least, guys. Yeah. Your thoughts as regards to my comments to COVID-19 and the championship?
Well, COVID-19, of course, you said it. It's fingers crossed that indeed it's a tremendous COVID-19 testing regime CONCACAF has put on us. I think in about 10 days we will be doing 6 or 5 tests in total, which is a lot. The COVID-19, of course, you said it. We are in Suriname at the moment, weekend lockdown, and we just received news today that next week we also will have a lockdown, which is influencing our flight out of here, because once you have a total lockdown, we have no flights in or out, and we were about to leave on Saturday. So we are now struggling to push it up to Friday to make sure that we are definitely in Miami and then continue on Saturday. So it's been very rocky for the momentum, and it's not only for us, it's for everybody. So yeah, we can complain, but yeah, man, this is the way it is. So we got to deal with it at the moment. And I just want to come back to you on the dome. Because I've never been to Guatemala. I've looked at all the pictures just to get myself familiarized with the circumstances. But you are definitely right. We had Guatemala visiting Suriname 3 years ago, and the first game they played against French Guyana, which is a major level difference. But because it was their first game in Suriname, they didn't know French Guyana. It was a difficult atmosphere. Man, this was actually in the dying seconds they won from French Guyana. So I think that will be the same thing in Guatemala. If you have no, actually we have no spectators. So that means the home court advantage will be gone for the most part. So yeah, it's going to be an equal playing field, and man, I'm going to enjoy looking at Alexander's team. I'm going to enjoy all the matches. I'll be there, and I will be watching. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Guys, I'm having you all over. I sincerely apologize, but the conversation has been going organic. Just allow us 5 more minutes of your precious time, if I may. Because I really want us to, as we always do with most of our shows, is to give suggestions to the growth of futsal in the Caribbean. It's really important because as a region, we have to be able to develop this sport. In doing this show, this series, Futsal and CONCACAF, we did not have any guests from ONCAF being Central America. Yeah. We focused on North America being the two of the three giants, noting that is Canada and the United States. We had with Mr. Keith Tozier last week. We had all of except for Cuba, who is participating in the championship next week. So we really and truly want to take time to focus on building us. We have to, because as this right now, ONCAF, Central America, they are doing a fantastic job. So what can we tell to our counterparts as regards to growing the sport of futsal on the island and more so for the region? Alex, I'll start with you. Just from your experience, what are some of the suggestions you'll give to Haiti and by extension the rest of the Caribbean?
Well, I think that we need to invest in, well, I'll think we need to invest in marketing and show the way that it could be ecstatic to play futsal, the way that it could be really interesting, the way that there's a lot of goals, there's a lot of tactical, there's a lot of things like that. And I think that I'll tell you a story. I went to a tournament in France. It calls the name was the Nantes Erdre tournament. There were countries around the world that were at the tournament. I went there with my former club, and it's crazy that all the local club or small futsal club that went together, make a great tournament, and after share everything on social media, things like that. And well, when we put some marketing in that, all the families, friends, and well, okay, you were playing futsal, you're playing with all type of countries like that. I think that we don't have as much as tournament like that I can say, hey, Jeffrey, if you can come, we can try to get something to get. Now it's a COVID, it's a little bit difficult, but I'll give you an example. We're doing a tournament here in Montreal. It calls the Classic Moustache. It's a big tournament that we're trying to get some other teams from the international. So we, for sure, when we talk to the city and we say, okay, we'll have a team from Suriname, we'll have a team from Trinidad, they will help us to have hotels food, things like that. So when we try to work together like that, and we put things on social media, it helps to grow the sports. And this is, yes, with money, but if you're trying to try to share our material, things like that, we know that the sport will grow that. So I think that sharing is caring, that type of mission. And I think that if we continue to doing things like that, like you're doing, Jeff, it's a really nice show. I have to congrats you. I think that the sport will grow in our area.
Before you answer, Ralph, I want to give a quick, as we say in Trinidad and Tobago, big up and respect to you. Ralph Velway. I got it right, yeah, Ralph?
Yeah. Good.
Has created a WhatsApp group among some of the Caribbean leaders in futsal. And that is amazing to say the least. And I mean, Ralph is your group, but at the same time, Alex, I think that you should be a part of that group because we need to be able to have more persons speaking, towards the growth of futsal. So, Ralph, all's yours as regards to recommendations for the growth of the sport in the Caribbean.
I think it's twofold. Of course, as Alex said, it's not knowledge is power. Knowledge sharing is power at the moment. We are definitely, myself, I want to share the way we set up the school competition, the way we are actually dealing with coaches, and how we get involvement from Europe, in this case the Netherlands, to have a international coaching level course. And it's not for me that it's for Suriname. No, let's expand on that, and make sure that we collaborate and share that knowledge. And yeah, it will help Trinidad, it will help Haiti, it will help French Guyana. Not a problem. It's not that us as Suriname are standalone. If we grow together, we, as I say, alone you go quick, but together you go further. So that is the way I approach that, and I'm willing to collaborate with anybody and make sure that we get the best for everybody. Having said that, I also must take a critical look at CONCACAF, of course. Alexander already mentioned that we got very surprised 2 months ago that all the visiting nations need to pay for hotel, food and lodging for themselves, which is something we are not accustomed to. This is the next international player. Yeah.
Sorry, we have a guest.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So having said that, which was a surprise because we had not budgeted at all for that. It was a 44% budget increase for Suriname, and then we need to scramble. I must say I objected to that because I know in the 2020 version all the accommodations at the tournament would be paid for by the CONCACAF. So having said that, I think CONCACAF, we need to put futsal on the agenda. It's not only the once in every 4 years World Cup qualifier. We need to have initiatives from CONCACAF to grow the sport because it's also beneficial for them to have it more on the agenda as the futsal. But as we did in Suriname in 2018 by organizing our own tournament, I think that is the way to go for the Caribbean nations, to have either a club level or national level, having those tournaments just to get a good level of play and make sure we are inviting. Now we have new friends from Trinidad and Haiti. Actually, I was looking for Trinidad back then in 2018, but for some reason I couldn't find any contact. But now we definitely need to make sure that we collaborate on knowledge and collaborate on organizing tournaments. If we shift it from one nation to another, we can make sure that the load is spread and that we are willing, and to make sure that we have a strong Caribbean to face off, of course, Latin America. Let's be honest.
Guys, you hit the nail on the head. It's very important that we grow. Beach soccer and futsal two of these sports, the variants of the sport of football, that can really put us on the map. We have to also thank, I mean, I hear you loud and clear, Rolf, as regards to the 44% increase in terms of revenue, in terms of income, sorry, in terms of expenditure to the budget. But at the same time, Asia last week announced that due to COVID-19, they couldn't have their championship. So we have to be thankful for what it is.
Yeah,
but between that 4-year cycle is very important. And you all both said it, that we have to have more activities for our stakeholders. And our stakeholders include our coaches, our players, our athletes, and our administrators, and more so, our fans. In speaking to that, I am open to be able to assist in when it comes to marketing and also sharing of ideas, which I think we should create a think tank to be able to promote Futsal Caribbean. Noting that the month of May, we already have the hashtag Futsal May Madness, because we really want to be able to copy from the March Madness that is known internationally for basketball, to be able to have Futsal May Madness and be able to grow that. So definitely something that we have to speak to. And guys, I really and truly want us to move from being a talk shop to being action, to being the Avengers of futsal in the Caribbean, and actually save sport in the Caribbean by being the light that is, in terms of showing unity. Just as West Indies cricket is, let's be able to show unity with futsal and grow and be able to have the young gentlemen, in the next 10 years, be able to say, hey, I could be able to go to Trinidad and Tobago and meet Uncle Geoffrey and have some great times with him. Exactly. Exactly. So, gentlemen, I give you all your closing remarks. I leave the closing remarks to you all. It is an hour and 32 minutes counted. This is one of our longest shows. I mean, it was a pleasure having you all. It was so organic. Thank you very much. I have closing remarks to you all. It's up to you.
Well, I need to tell you, Ralph. You said something really important a little bit earlier. You said alone you go low. Alone
you go fast.
Exactly, and it's funny because this is our quote, our Asian, the Asian quote. We say in Creole, "Yon seul nous faible, ensemble nous fort," and that's the way that we want to try to do something at the tournament. So I need to tell you guys, thank you, Ralph, thank you, Jeffrey, and if I can take only 1 second, can you give me a second, please? Thank you. I just want to thank the Asian Federation, the Futsal Association. I want to thank Alain Grégoire for the opportunity, Jean-Pénel Germain also, and I want to thank my players, but also my staff, all people in my staff. There's a lot of people. They're doing a lot of things, really on the rush as volunteers, and they made that dream possible for us to go represent the country. So thanks a lot to everyone.
Yes, continuing on what Alexander said, it's going to be a pleasure to meet him in person, of course. Unfortunately, Geoffrey will not be there, but okay, no worries. We'll be there during. We'll meet each other, I'm sure. Closing remarks is that I feel I have a really gut feeling that there is a movement starting at the moment, and that movement is something which we need to create the momentum and make sure that we capitalize on that momentum. So I'm very positive for the outlook on in the future. Of course, as Alexander said, the relationship. I need to thank also the Football Association, and actually he hit the nail. It's all voluntary at the Futsal Association at the moment, and it's very unique because in the world, it's voluntarism is very it's declining. Of course, I also have a board position at the Red Cross, and I see the figures where actually we keep growing that. I'm looking forward to the future. I'm willing actually now to extend invitations to host a Caribbean futsal event. I don't know what. Maybe also with we can expand that. I know Chris and I have been talking about this because that's the only way truly to get the notification. Also for corporate the corporate world. So yeah, I'm in it to win it and to go.
And that's just it. Let's go, guys. And I want to say thank you very much once again. Alex, what's his name?
Elias James.
Elias. Hi, Elias. Thank you for joining us.
I give you a kiss.
Yes. So, gents, I want to say thank you very much. And we love marketing. So feel free within the boundaries of CONCACAF's marketing portfolio and what it is to send us that long document. Feel free to send us videos and pictures and tag us on Instagram and all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, at Futsal868. We love to see what's happening with you guys. When you jump on the plane, at your hotels, we want to see what's going on. So feel free to tag us. We definitely will be reposting and we want to be able to keep the journey going. So thank you very much, guys. Have a great week ahead and all the best in your continued journeys, not only in the short term for next week, but in terms of life. So have a great one. See you all soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
So that was Futsal868, episode 49. Before we leave, for those who don't know us on social media, catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also YouTube. So once again, we will say have a great week. And we have to end it this way because this week was a great week for us in terms of justice have been served. And we want to say thank you very much, God, for giving us this opportunity. Remember, racism ends with us.
It is our responsibility
to commit to making a positive difference in our society.
Listen, read, be a standing voice against discrimination and injustices. I am Irene Marquez.
I am Dee.
I am McKenna.
I am Jariel McCullen, and racism ends with
me.
Definitely ends with me. And I hope that you all know that it should end with you as well. So have a great week ahead. And remember to log on to raceroster.com, search Futsal868, and join our Futsal868 Virtual Race Challenge. See you all next week for episode 50. Yes, big 50. Thank you, Lord, for a great one. Be blessed.